think a lot of us had heard that there is going to be some kind of movement to ask a counselor to resign or have her removed or recalled based on something that she put on Instagram.
All right, I need to start off by saying I don't mean for this post to have anybody go after anybody else. This post is just to call out the media, and it's something that needs to be cleaned up. Okay. So, a local newspaper here in my town of about 10,000, and there's a couple small towns that are around us, they also serve them, posted a story about something that one of the council members said on the city council. And the local newspaper, they tried to soften the blow. Now, let's get into the story. Okay, the title of the story is The Big Turnout, the First Amendment Draws a Full House, dated September 29, 2025. The reality that the United States politics in 2025 was on full display at the Silverton City Council meeting on Wednesday, September 17. And then the reporter goes into the backstory of the whole thing. The backstory: on September 10, prominent conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a sniper while speaking at a university audience in Utah. His death has provoked passionate response. In a social media post, City Councilor April Newton said that the violence of Kirk's murder was appalling, but she wished his supporters would be more passionate about the victims of school shootings. Now, that right there, that part where, all right, let's see what kind of response that drew. In Silverton, as well throughout the nation, people took action based on Charlie Kirk or Kirk-related social media posting. The New York Times on page 1 on Sunday, September 21 edition, published a story that noted that more than 100 people from a wide range of occupation nations had been faced criticism and potential repercussions after speaking out in the aftermath of Kirk's death. Newton's post resulted in 10 or 12 comments of concern being forwarded to the city, according to city manager Corey Measley. Backers of Newton sent out pleas to the resident to show up at the September 17 meeting, fearing that Newton's opponents would show up in masses and demand her resignation. Measley deployed 2 Silverton police officers in the council chamber for the meeting. He said that the Kirk assassination led to caution, and it would not be a reflection on any threats to Newton in the backstory. Okay, then he goes into what the reaction of, or what it looked like in the chamber. The council chambers were full on September 17th, a rarity. Okay, that's true. That's barely ever full. 16 people testified on a wide range of topics during the public comment period. 8 of those comments appeared to be in support of Newton, who received strong applause when she entered the room. No speaker named her, although some referred to her gender. However, free speech and the First Amendment were prominent in the comments. Let's go down. One resident brought a guitar and led the audience in a rendition of Let's Get Together, the mid-1960s song of peace and brotherhood, written by Chet Powers and made famous by the Young Bloods and others. For the record, 3 members of the council sang along: Newton, Eric Hammond, and Mayor Jason, I think it's Freelinger is how you say his name. Newton did not address the Kirk issue or the public comments at any point in the proceeding. Okay. That seems like a pretty big turnout for saying, where's that? For saying violence of the Kirk murder was appalling, but she wished his supporters had been passionate about the victim school shootings. So to have 2 police officers and to fill up a city meeting over saying something that has nothing to do with hateful or anything. She just said that the violence of Charlie Kirk was appalling, but she wished that supporters were as passionate about victims of the shootings. That's all she said. No big deal. Except for that's not what she said. Published October 13th, and I have to give Our Town credit for publishing this. Letter to the editor. There's more to the story. In the October 1 edition of Our Town, reporter James Day wrote an article on Civics 101 column titled Big Turnout, subtitled First Amendment Draws a Full House. Day described a backstory of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the social media post by City Councilor April Newton regarding this event. He went on to state that the New York Times articles reported more than 100 people nationwide have faced criticism for social media posts regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. He mentioned that 10 or 12 comments were forwarded to the city of Silverton regarding Newton's post. Backers of Newton were concerned about opponents of Newton's showing up at city council meeting and demanding Newton's resignation. Therefore, they urged citizens to attend the meeting in support of Newton. Out of caution, City Manager Corey Measley asked 2 Silverton police officers to attend the meeting, noting that this was not a reflection on any threat to Newton. They reported that Newton's social media post, which started all of this, said that the violence of Charlie Kirk was appalling, and she wished his supporters would be as passionate about the victims of school shootings. Her post actually read, "The fact that Trump was putting the flag half-mast at half-staff for a white supremacist and never once lowered it for murdered school children tells you everything you know." So rightfully so, the opinion piece here says Day's backstory is not entirely true. He did not correctly report the facts when stating Newton's post. I was not at the city council meeting on September 17. I do not know how many backers Newton had or critics of Newton were there, or who said what on both sides, because they were not described. What I do know is Day's credibility has been compromised, and so has the credibility of the publication. Talking about Our Town. Regarding April Newton, she does have the same right to free speech that is given to all Americans, but just because you have the right to act a certain way doesn't mean you should abandon your responsibilities to show common decency toward your fellow man or constituent. Now, Our Town did end this with an editor's note. The reporter paraphrased one of April Newton's posts. Okay. The goal was to capture the essence of her comments. The editor concurred with this decision. So, was the publication right to paraphrase April Newton's comment? My argument is no, because that's not what she said. What she said was a little bit worse, and the way it was paraphrased takes the whole thing out of context. That's what the whole story is about, is what she said. And they basically put a pillow under the story so readers would be like, that doesn't seem that bad, when in reality it was something else.